All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. It's your brother Yosef. I'm back with another video, family. Um, I know this is a surprise because you guys are not used to back-to-back videos from me so quickly. But I wanted to come on and do this video, um, because I feel like it needed to be done, right? And for some reason, in the past 2 months, I've really been talking about this left hand and right hand path thing a lot. But I wanted to make sure I explained it in a way where I don't put them against each other because that's not what it's about. I just want to give clarity, right? I want to give clarity because magic is magic, but in the third dimension, we do have, whether people believe it or look at it or not, as left hand path and right hand path approaches. Okay? That's what pretty much people believe down here. And there's whole schools based on the right hand path approach and the left hand path approach. All right? Both are paths to enlightenment. I can't say that enough. Your job is to decide based on your nature who you are and which way you want to go. Right? About 2 years ago, I did a video called How to Evolve on the Left Hand Path. Okay? And it would only be right for me to do a video called How to Evolve on the Right Hand Path. So people, because that's pretty much what my teachings are based on. And I kind of want to give people an idea of where you should begin, what you should do, and what to expect on the right hand path. You know what I mean? How to evolve in the left hand path, that video has been taken down. Right? I wanted to leave that to the left hand path teachers to teach people how to evolve in the left hand path. I didn't want to have that on my channel anymore. You know what I'm saying? That's what you can expect from this channel, right? That's what we're going to deal with, and that's what you can expect. Once again, I'm not putting down the left-hand path. I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm just saying that this channel is going to be based on pretty much right-hand path approaches towards magic. All right? And I'm going to explain that because some people get it misconstrued and they are confused about what this thing is really about. All right? So I'm going to do my best in this video to help you guys understand that, okay? Now, one thing I personally love about the right-hand path and this approach towards evolution is that it challenges you more than, in my opinion, other paths. Some paths challenges your emotions, right? Like you're on the left-hand path, it's going to challenge, it teaches you to embrace your ego. Your ego is humanity. Your ego is what makes you think that your name is what your mama called you or your daddy called you, right? And the ego is a lot more than that as well, but the ego pretty much is your humanity. Why would I want to embrace my humanity? Now, even with that being said, if you embrace the ego with the correct teachings, you can evolve, right? I don't want to embrace my ego. I want to totally do away and put the ego asleep, right? And I want to merge with the source. I want to turn into a whole new being. I want to evolve into a being of light. A whole new level. That's what I want to do, family, right? So one thing I've learned about people who come from the left-hand path and they start, taking in some of my information, they have a really hard time taking in this information because it challenges them. It challenges the way they think, right? It challenges the way they talk. It challenges the way they choose to live their life, right? It challenges the way they choose to live their life. And, and they don't really, it's hard for them. So a lot of them just say, oh, it don't take all that. Okay, that's cool. But this is the path, right? We're not going to be in the middle. We're not going to play around. What are you going to do? You can go any side you want, but this is what we do over here, right? This is what we do over here. And it challenges you, family. And I can truly say I have grown, and from practice, from looking at the left hand path, studying it, getting to some of the information on the left hand path. I could truly say that I evolve a lot quicker and faster dealing with the light, dealing with the true light. You see what I'm saying? It challenged me. It challenged me a whole lot, right? It helped me get past my mentality of what I thought was. Um, it helped me focus on my mission, right? A lot of people are stuck. They're stuck. They're still stuck on racism. The white man did it. They're still stuck on, the government conspiracy theories. And don't get it twisted. Just because you warn people about what they got coming, don't mean you're a government conspiracy theorist. I'm talking about people who that's all they focus on, what the government gonna do, right? They don't give you no solutions. They don't give you no magical tips, no evolutionary tips, nothing. They just telling you how the government gonna mess you up. You gotta be careful because all they're really giving you is information. They're not giving you real knowledge. It seems like it because it scares you, right? It gets you excited, but you're just getting information. A lot of those people don't give you a solution. They just tell you this is what they got coming for you. You better do something about it, right? So, in my opinion, the right hand path family of magic, and I'm gonna tell you guys also how to, where you should start and where you should go as well on this path. So, in my opinion, the right hand path of magic has challenged me and my wife and my whole family leaps and bounds, and has really allowed me to grow in the way I want, right? So what really is the right hand path? What is this approach that we're doing? This is the right hand path, and I want you guys to remember this. The right hand path family is nothing more than a direct approach to the creator. The right hand path is nothing but a direct path or approach to the creator, right? The left hand path also leads to the creator, but you kind of do it your own way over there. You become your own God. But if it leads to a path of enlightenment, it leads back to the source. So all paths lead back to the source, right? Your job is to take what you learn on the right hand path and kind of create your own way using the principles, or just follow the path, right? I can truly say as I've grown on this path, after I learned the basic principles of the path, what I needed to do, how I needed to work it, I kind of start trying my own things and it works, right? But you got to know the principles if you're going to follow this path. It's very, very important, right? So, on this path, we utilize, right, high vibrational tools to challenge ourselves and to grow. We use high vibrational tools to challenge ourselves and grow. We use things like mantras, mudras. We use, even if crystals, meteorites, right? We use things that's going to pull us closer to the light to evolve, right? To evolve in the right-hand path. And I'm going to answer a very important question that I get a lot, right? And I was just talking to a tribal member about this, right? I want you guys to understand that we are not weak on the right-hand path. We are strong through our techniques. Anybody can do a magical spell, but once you learn how to hone on your techniques, right, of the craft, of the path, you will get better and better as a magician. So I get the question all the time, Brother Yosef, somebody is messing with me. My neighbors is calling the police on me. My neighbor messing with me. Somebody beat up my son in school. Somebody's threatening my life. Somebody at the job is messing with me. What are we supposed to do on the right-hand path? Are we supposed to just accept it and not do anything? No. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm doing this video, so you guys can understand how to work with the energy of the right-hand path, right? So let me tell you the techniques that we do and the approach that we take when someone is bothering you or putting you in a situation that you don't like. In the right-hand path, we don't attack the person. We attack the energy. Let me say that again. In the right-hand path, we don't attack the person. We attack the energy behind the person. So, if somebody, let's say on my job, hates me, right? I'm not going to do a black magic spell, which is the usually approach that people do. And I'm not going to do a black magic spell and create karma for myself to attack this person. Because let's be honest, and I'm just going to be honest, like a lot of people who attack people, sometimes it ain't even that bad. Like, You may end a person's life, or you may destroy a person's life, their finances, their health, or their marriage, just to get back at them, because you want to make them hurt, right? And sometimes that's not the approach. There's a saying in the Kabbalah that life is not about what's happening to you, it's about how you respond to it, right? It's about how you let it affect you. That's a principle to live by, right? Life is not about what's happening to you, it's how you respond to it. Very important to understand as you move and grow, because a lot of people have been hexed by accident, right? They didn't even do anything to anybody, right? They minded their business. They heard that this person talking about them. Person never said a word to them, and because this person know black magic, they just go put a spell on the person. It happens all the time. You know what I'm saying? Look, I worked in hospitals and nursing homes in the past, right? I've heard and seen things. I worked around other security guards. I hear people's life stories. People come and tell me their life story. So I've heard many things, you know. And a person will say, man, I don't know, that person, they didn't never like me. And then my life just started getting worse. So some people also do things to you out of jealousy, right? So I want you guys to understand what we do is we utilize prayer, right? I know some of y'all left-hand pathers, y'all don't, you know, or people who don't agree with prayer, but prayer is very powerful, right? So we utilize prayer. We also utilize mantra and push the high vibrational light towards the energy of anger. Or we push it towards the energy of jealousy. Or we push it towards the energy of deceit or hate or whatever it is, right? That's how we fight on the right-hand path. We attack the energy that's driving a person, right? We attack that, right? Like a person was telling me one time that somebody in their family was sick. I'm not gonna tell all their business, but they was telling me that somebody was sick, and I was telling them to say, hey, you know, they was like, what spell can I do to make them better? I said, well, you don't think about the person, think about the energy. Attack the energy of cancer or the energy of sickness, whatever this person dealing with, cancer, whatever, the virus, whatever they dealing with, right? Attack that. Don't focus on the person so much. Attack the energy. And it's the same thing when a person is being negative towards you, family. You combat the energy, not the person. That's how we fight on the right-hand path, right? And that takes technique. That's a technique in itself. Because most time when a person's bothering you, we automatically think one directional, hey, we got to attack this person. And what we want to do is we want to attack the energy behind the person. You could pray, right? You can pray to the creator or your spiritual parents or your spiritual guides, right? And ask them to attack the energy that's driving this person to hate you or driving this person to be jealous of you, right? And something will happen. I can promise you that. And when you get real good at magic, you can do it yourself, right? So if a person was hating on me or a person had anger towards me, they wanted to harm me, I would attack the power, the energy. I have to first figure out what type of energy do they have that's fueling them to come at me that way. It could be anger, hate, jealousy, whatever, right? Whatever it is, I attack that. Whether I pray on it or I speak mantras of high vibration, right? Protective mantras, or I speak mantras of light, mantras of love. Love is probably the most powerful thing you can do, right? Even if you say certain affirmations, right? Mantras of healing, right? You can ask that to heal that person's karma, their trauma. You can ask to energy to heal that person's karma. I keep saying karma. Their trauma. So you can heal that person's trauma that they're dealing with and attack their trauma instead of attacking them, because hurt people hurt people. So it's something that this person's been through, and that energy is still lingering in them and is making them attack you, right? So that's how I deal with things as a right-hand pather, as a person who follows the path of light, right? I deal with attacking and using light as a weapon or a shield to go at the energy behind a person instead of attacking them directly, right? That's what you can do in your technique. That's what we do, right? You don't just let somebody keep bothering you. Now they put their hands on you, you got the right to put your hands on them. This ain't no Christianity or church. This is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted you guys to know that. And I think that's a very important thing for you guys to know, because we are not weak over here. We are strong through our techniques that we use on the right hand path. All right. So always remember that our technique is we don't attack the person, we attack the energy behind the person. All right. I want you guys to get that in your heads so you don't have to keep asking that question. Hey, what do we do? Right? What do we do? That's what you do. Use mantra. Go find a mantra. Maybe that person's angry at you. They're hurt. You can put a healing mantra towards them and heal the anger. Right? Maybe maybe they hate you. You can speak a mantra of light or a mantra of high vibration and attack the energy that's attack that hate. Right? Attack that hate. Another thing you can do too is pray for the person and play the frequency of love in the background, 528 hertz. And imagine that frequency going towards that person. Right? Those are things that work. Those are things that work, family. All right? Now, how do we evolve? Right? Because what do we utilize as right-hand path? We utilize the light. What is the light, family? The light is information. Light is information on various levels. Right? So, as a right-hand pather, we deal with the light, and we also absorb the light to evolve ourselves. So we absorb the correct information to absorb ourselves. Yes, you can do it on a basic physical level, by, like I told you guys before, you can get the Zohar Volume 6, scan that, you can get some light from that, right? And then there's higher levels of evolution in obtaining light, right? Obtaining information, right? The information, and a lot of the information that you're going to be evolving is already inside of you, right? So let me give you a prime example of that. One of the first things you're always going to do, and pay attention, family, don't forget these things. One of the first things that you're always going to do as on this path is you're going to work with your ancestors. Honor your ancestors. If you've been following me for a while, you should already know how to do ancestor work. Get you a table made of wood, or a bookshelf made of wood. Get the 4 elements: earth, air. Earth, it could be dirt from outside. Air could be a feather or incense. Water is a glass of water. And your fire is the white candle, right? That's the basic setup for an altar. Start putting your ancestors' picture up there. Don't put no crystals on the altar, but put your ancestors' pictures up there. And then put food up there. Put things they like up there. Put things up there as well that last for a while. I like to put squash on my altars. I put squash up there. I put carrots. I put apple could last about a week up there. I mean, put things like that, and don't worry about. And I don't know why people ask me this, because it's all part of the sacrifice, right? You're sacrificing this food to your ancestors. People say, well, what can we do with the food after it's been up there? You throw it away. Why would you even ask something like that? You throw the food away, right? The energy has been surrounded by the realm of the dead. You don't want to eat that food. You're going to have to be uncomfortable with sacrificing the food. That's what this thing is about. As your ancestors absorb that energy, and you want to burn ancestor money on the altar, right? Bring some ancestor money every day if you can. If you can't, at least once or twice a week, burn that ancestor money to feed your ancestors not only food but also energy. Okay, other forms of energy. Don't worry about ancestor money that's, well, Brother Yosef, the ancestor money got the Chinese man on it. You don't know what you're saying. Some of y'all are still dealing with racism. Like, you don't know what you're saying, right? The Jade Emperor doesn't care what race you are. I can promise you that. You care what race it is. So now you got people out here making ancestor money out of, I done seen Anubis ancestor money. I done seen, that's not ancestor money. I'm not going to put nobody down, but at the end of the day, you just can't put something on a paper and call it ancestor money. Right? This stuff was deemed by the heavens to be ancestor money, that right there. But some people in their mind, they haven't gotten past the black and white or different race thing, so they just can't use that ancestor money. And that's okay. Maybe this ain't for you. Right? But for those who want to use it, I've been benefiting from ancestor money for years. And I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what race you are, if you're white, black, whatever, you can use the Asian ancestor money. You can get it from the Asian markets. You can get it from online and utilize it. You can get it from Amazon. and burn it, family. Burn it for your family. Burn it for your ancestors. They benefit from that. Okay? So as the ancestors grow and obtain light, you obtain light on a quantum level. You obtain light and you grow on a quantum level. On a small quantum level, you obtain light because they're growing in information. They're growing in the light, and so will you. Okay? So will you, family. So the ancestor work is the first line of defense. It's the first thing you do as you grow in your spiritual path, right? The second thing you want to do is you want to find a path of principles, right? This isn't one-sided. There's so many variations of what people consider right-hand path, right? You could become a Buddhist. You could become a Taoist. You could become a Kabbalah person. You could become a person that's Gnosticism. You can deal with Sufism. There's so many different levels and different spiritual systems you can walk. You can deal with shamanism, right? And when you get into one of these systems, even if you deal with like Santeria or voodoo is not a dark side science. So people got that twisted. Voodoo is a path of light. It's a light science. It can, and it's such an advanced science until it can have dark aspects to it. It can go there if you want to take it there, right? The voodoo can take it there with you. But voodoo is a very beautiful light science, right? It's a science of that can bring you light, right? Same thing with Yoruba, the Yoruba system. The Yoruba system is a beautiful system of light, not darkness. So I want you guys to understand, even if you walk those systems, you're going to still obtain and do these same things, right? So you want to live the principles of those systems, family. The principles are there to psychologically challenge you, which is a sign of growth. Every time you make an evolved decision, you grow in light. You obtain light in your consciousness. It don't matter if you don't see it. That's what's happening. You're obtaining light and you're growing in consciousness every time you make a better decision. You make a more evolved decision. You make a more moral decision. You actually grow in consciousness in your mind, in your consciousness, family. These are important things to understand. So live the principles. Whatever principles you choose, it could be a bunch of mixed principles together that you decide work for you. Cool. Live those principles, right? One of the principles that we got in our tribe is if it don't evolve me, it don't involve me. If it don't evolve me, it don't involve me. You know what I'm saying? So that's just how it is, right? So I'm one of those guys where people can hate me on YouTube, people hate me in the world. I'm never really gonna respond like that because it's pointless. I don't do the internet back and forth thing. I don't do that. It's kind of pointless to go back and forth. I feel like if you really got something to say to somebody, when you see him, you say it. Besides that, I'm not going back and forth on the internet with nobody. You know what I'm saying? I don't be understanding that, right? So that's a waste of energy. That's a waste of time, right? I'm going to evolve past that, and I'm just not going to speak on it. Person can think whatever they want, right? As long as you bear good fruit, you good, right? So live the principles, family. Live the spiritual principles as part of your path. This is stuff that Brother Yosef does daily himself, okay? Live the spiritual principles. The next thing is sun gazing. It is very important to sun gaze and absorb light. Sun gazing is very simple. All you gotta do is look at the sun. I prefer only when it's rising or setting. Do not look at the sun in the middle of the day. I'm gonna say that again. Do not look at the sun in the middle of the day. That's not the type of sunlight you want. You want the sun when it's rising or when it's setting. And you don't need to look at the sun for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And you will absorb the nutrients for your soul to grow in those 5 to 10 minutes, right? So all you gotta do is look at the sun and be grateful. Be grateful and be joyful. Your gratefulness should eventually turn into joy. That's the end result. So after being grateful for a while, you want to eventually become joyful, right? Gratefulness kind of gets you in the mood. It gets you ready. And then you want to focus on joy. These are things that will grow your soul. Looking at the sun 5 to 10 minutes when it's rising or setting. And you don't need to go past 10 minutes, family. 5 to 10 minutes at a time, rising or setting. Now, you can also light a candle when the sun is rising or setting and do the same practice. Look at the candle, find out what time on the news or on your phone, what time the sun is going to rise or what time it's going to set, and just light a white candle and stare at it for 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. That's it. And you, over time, throughout the years, you're going to obtain light. You're going to grow in light. Okay? There's also mantras out there, sun mantras, right? I got one on my website called Sun Mantra for the Soul. You can speak these solar mantras while you're doing the practice as well, and it can help you grow even more. Okay? This is very important, family. We work with the sun because we're trying to eventually we want to obtain a solar body, this light body, right? Or Makaba. We want to obtain those things, right? Another thing that works well is working with some type of energy practice, right? This is another thing that we do to evolve, right? We work with energy practices. So we talked about the sun working with the sun, and we also want to work with mantras and mudras of high vibration, right? We want to work with mantras, speak words of power with high vibration, and also use gestures of power with high vibrations, right? Which are mudras, right? You can do that. There's tons of mudras you can use. There's tons of mantras you can say that are high vibrational. This is one right here, the Gayatri mantra, right? There's tons of mantras you can say that will invoke light. Literally, light appears whether you see it or not, just by speaking these things. Okay? Very, very powerful, family. These are other things you can do to evolve, right? And one of the most important things I think you can do as well is mind strengthening. Mind strengthening. You want to strengthen your mind on this path because if you are a person dealing with the light, you're going to constantly have foes come at you. But I can promise you, the stronger you develop the light, they're not going to want to come around you. Right? So, in order to keep your vibration high, you got to be okay with losing friends. It's part of this path. Right? Remember, I just said 2024 is a point of no return. Are you with us or not? Are you in this or not? Right? You got to be okay with losing friends and family. You got to be okay with losing people that may not see your vision or see what you're into as a thing. You got to be okay with that. And if you're okay with that, you can slowly strengthen your mind. I always tell people practice mindfulness. Mindfulness is a good thing you can work with and practice to help strengthen your mind. That's one of the biggest enemies is your mind. You see what I'm saying? You got to get that. Negativity is your enemy on this path. You have to look at it like that. A negative person should make you sick to your stomach. You should get away from them. And that's why I'm telling y'all this stuff challenges you because Brother Yosef grew up in the hip hop era. And man, I was the biggest Mobb Deep fan you ever want to meet. I love Mobb Deep, right? I had to give it up. I had to stop listening to all that stuff so much. I love the Locks. But the type of music I would listen to was challenging my consciousness. I had to switch it up. That was a challenge. It literally challenged what I thought was a part of my nature. All right? I still listen to hip hop now. But it's got to be more high. I listen to a little J. Cole. You know what I'm saying? A little Kendrick. A little bit. Right? My favorite rapper is Cannabis. Right? I listen to stuff like that. A little underground hip hop. Good stuff. Even the upstate New York Griselda, I had to stop listening to a lot of their stuff because of what they saying in the music. And I like it. But I had to let it go. To evolve it's a challenge. Right? You need to surrender. Surrender. It's okay. It's going to be all right. It may seem like it's, you're trying to pull something in your head. It may seem hard, like you don't want to let go. And it feel like, oh, it hurt to let that go. But it's going to be okay. I promise you. It's going to be all right. All right? It's going to be okay, family. Part of this path is about surrendering. As you do the things I talked about here, and you surrender, right? As you do the practices, you evolve, you live this certain lifestyle. As you practice and you surrender to whatever the Spirit's telling you. Spirit told me, Joseph, it's time to give up some of this music you like. I surrendered to it. Boy, it was hard. Because it gave me energy sometimes. It made me, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I had to give a lot of that up. I was a little upset about it for a while, but the ego was upset, not me. And then guess what happened? Another week or two, I got over it. And I started listening to jazz music and other stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, nobody can do this for you. You have to do it yourself. I tell my wife these same things. She likes, some of the girls that's out there, the music, she has to give her own account. She has to figure it out for herself. She has to decide when she's going to give certain things up. You know what I'm saying? I ain't touching it. But she know what it is. But as a man in your household, you gotta live it before anybody else do. You gotta live it, man. Even if you a single man, you gotta live this. You gotta live this. You know what I'm saying? Live this. And that's what we do over here on the right hand path. And that's how you evolve on the right hand path. You live all those things we just talked about, right? And that's what's going to help you evolve and grow. I felt like this video was needed because a lot of things I answered on here, I thought I talked about. I thought people understood the whole package, and they didn't. So I wanted to present it in a whole package so it could be understood. I could make understanding understood, right? And that's what we did here today, right? So I want to thank you guys for listening. You know, I want to say to the tribal members, remember we are on Mighty Networks. You can check us out on Mighty Networks. You can check me out on Patreon, Brother Yosef on Patreon. And yeah, family, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to be on vacation for a little while, but when I get back, I most likely drop another one on y'all. All right? So, it's Brother Yosef. Peace and love, and I'll holler at you guys in the next video. All right? Peace, family.